yeah, I was like, oh, I can breathe now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Rex Lita with the news update. Prime Minister James Marape has condemned the attack on a St. John ambulance crew in the nation's capital during the New Year operation. The attack occurred while a crew was transporting a pregnant mother in need of urgent medical attention.
Prime Minister James Marape expressed disappointment at the attack of an ambulance crew in NCD during the New Year ambulance operations. He said the country is entering a historic milestone year, but is being marred by this criminal act. The attack occurred as the ambulance was transporting a pregnant mother in need of urgent care, resulting in injuries and damage to the vehicle and its crew. The Prime Minister described the incident as unacceptable and a direct affront to the spirit of compassion and service that defines us as a nation. He assured the public that his government will work to ensure justice is served and that such acts of violence are addressed swiftly. According to the ambulance service, 18 ambulance crews were on duty each day across 4 provinces. Duty Operations Commander Officer Lawrence Stephen said the teams were supported by regional commanders, rapid response doctors in NCD and other medical support units. In total, 26 emergency response units were on call across the regions, reinforcing the efforts of the frontline crews. Prime Minister Marape urged all citizens to support the efforts of police, emergency services and other essential workers who dedicate themselves to the welfare of the nation. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Prime Minister Marape and NCD Governor Powes Pakop met Thursday to initiate discussions on the planning for PNG's 50th independence anniversary celebrations and related activities. The meeting is preliminary to a full stakeholders meeting to be held on Monday, 6th January 2025, when the Prime Minister, Governor Pakop and Justin Tachenko, Minister in charge of national events, meet with representatives from all agencies involved in planning and executing the activities for this milestone event. PM Marape said they discussed the PNG team to the NRL, which will be launched in February. Planning will comprise major events lining the year, leading into September 16, 2025, and will terminate at the end of the year in December. He said the Department of Education will be involved in the planning to align the school calendar with the year's activities. 29 young people recently graduated with Oak Teddy Mining Limited under its Graduate Development Scheme. This underscores OTML's 40 years of commitment to providing first-hand training in various aspects of the mining industry in Papua New Guinea since the establishment of the apprentice training program in 1982 and later expanded in 1988 to include the GDS program.
Oak Teddy Mining Limited recently graduated 29 trainees under its Graduate Development Scheme and 12 apprentices from its apprenticeship training program during a combined graduation in Tabubil on December 19, 2024. The graduate trainees who completed 2 years of training were part of the 2022 GDS recruitment. OTML has now trained a total of 635 trainees through its GDS program. This figure includes the 45 currently in training. Out of the 29 trainee graduates, 19 were offered permanent positions with OTML. 7 received extensions on their GDS contracts, and 3 will pursue other opportunities. Of the 12 apprentice graduates, 7 were retained. This underscores OTML's 40 years of commitment to providing first-hand training in various aspects of the mining industry in Papua New Guinea since the establishment of the apprentice training program in 1982 and later expanded in 1988 to include the GDS program. OTML General Manager, Strategic Business Development and Optimization and Acting MD CEO Alan Bong congratulated the graduates and wished them well in their careers. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
The Queensland Museum is commemorating 30 years since the formal recognition of the Australian South Sea Islanders' experience and their status as a distinct cultural group. In total, 60,000 South Sea Islanders came to Australia as slaves or cheap labour from 1863. They were commonly referred to as Kanakas, and their hard labour helped establish Queensland's sugar and cotton industries. Now, 123 years after many were forced back to South Sea Islands, Australia's latest Pacific Worker Scheme is attracting allegations of exploitation, which are being investigated by the Anti-Slavery Commissioner in New South Wales, James Cockayne. Dr. Cockayne wants the federal government to ensure palm visas set out workers' right to safety and allow them to change employers. A spokesperson for the Department of Employment and Workers' Relations said a review of the guidelines will be published early in the new year. The Australian dollar is performing worse in international markets, but it's difficult to tell why.
It's going to be a boring day. Think again. The Aussie dollar fell as low as 61.84 US cents this morning, its weakest level since the early days of COVID, for no obvious reason. So bad news if you're on an overseas holiday, but great if you run a business which sells goods overseas. But since then, it's recovered above 62 US cents, which is still a 2-year low. So why is the Aussie dollar so weak lately? One reason is the US dollar, which has jumped to its highest level since November 2022. And in just 18 days, Donald Trump officially becomes president again. And his policies could result in US inflation remaining higher for longer. Policies like trade wars against China and other nations, clamping down on illegal immigration and slashing corporate tax, which would rack up larger deficits for America. And that'll probably lead to fewer interest rate cuts, which is boosting the appeal of the greenback at the expense of the Aussie dollar. The All Ords, meanwhile, rose by 0.5% on this relatively quiet day, with most of the world's major share markets still closed. Mining and tech companies did well today, but healthcare stocks lagged behind. In commodities, gold and oil prices went up, but iron ore was flat. And finally, while Australia's median property price has fallen for the first time in 2 years, don't get your hopes too high, as house prices compared to our wages and disposable income are still near record highs. And with a federal election coming up, neither side wants to do anything too radical to fix the situation, despite their promises. And that's finance.
While most people are fast asleep at 3 a.m., Australia's bakers rise and shine. In South Australia's Barossa wine region, a traditional bakery is celebrating a century of firing up its historic wooden oven.
About long ferment sourdough, his grandfather's tried and tested recipes, and the beating heart of his Tanunda bakery, this 100-year-old Scotch wood oven.
As far as we know, this is the longest continuously running wood-fired oven in Australia.
They were the golden brown standard, but these days are rare.
The bigger companies didn't like these little bakeries competing with them, so they knocked a lot of them in or just shut them down in general.
But no offer from Big Bread could stand in their way. It means fresh faces come through and rise to the challenge.
Couldn't ask for a better place to be a baker.
I absolutely love it, and I started my apprenticeship in 2020 and I was Jaren's apprentice, and that's how we met.
Things just blossomed, as they say.
Jaron did a fantastic job. He puts buns in the oven and put bun in the oven as well. And we had little Rory in December, just 2 days after Christmas.
These wood ovens are designed to last about 50 years. After doubling that, this beast isn't what it used to be.
We've just lost a lot of efficiency out of it. Bricks are starting to fall in. It's old and it needs some love. So the aim was to get through to 100 years. We've done that now, and now we can give it some love and hopefully get another 100 years out of it.
For another 100 years of happy customers.
I think it's important, personally, because mass production, sorry, it just doesn't taste as nice.
I hope it doesn't die out, the traditional bakery, but yeah, we'll try and keep it alive as long as possible.
Future-proofing their slice of history.
In sports, Mary Fowler and Nathan Cleary have been on a festive road trip to Cairns. The pair were pictured walking through a woodland area in Fowler's family. Fowler is currently enjoying a winter break from her Manchester City duties.
Daily Mail reported Mary Fowler and Nathan Cleary enjoyed a festive road trip up to Cairns with the Manchester Stars family. The duo, who have recently been on a romantic getaway in Europe, have both returned to Australia to celebrate Christmas and New Year's Eve with their families. Cleary, who steered Penrith to their fourth consecutive premiership last season, also recently underwent surgery on a troublesome shoulder injury and was seen without his arm sling on as he and Fowler and several family members took a hike through a woodland area. She captioned the Instagram post "Cairns with the crew." The pair have been taking every opportunity to spend time together between their busy schedules. In December, the sporting power couple enjoyed a low-key trip up to Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast, where there was the sunset over the Ballybandera Creek. Fowler is currently on a winter break with Manchester City set to return to WS action against Ipswich on January 12th. Cleary is set to return to pre-season training as he recovers from shoulder injury and is anticipating a 3 to 4 month layoff. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Meantime, Cleary is racing against the clock to be fit for the trip to Las Vegas in round 1 of the NRL competition following an off-season shoulder injury. According to the NRL.com, Cleary sustained the injury in the closing stage of Penrith's round 24 clash against Melbourne Storm last year and missed 3 matches before returning to the opening week of the finals against the Roosters. Hamstring and shoulder injuries restricted Cleary to just 13 games in 2024, but he defied the pain to lead his club to a historic 4th straight premiership. Meanwhile, PNG's favourite son and West Tigers centre Justin Olam also sustained a knee injury after the season ending last year. Whether or not he will feature in the opening round of the NRL competition is unclear. And that ends the news update. Do join us at 6 tonight for the main news bulletin.